everybody, I'm Rashad Burroughs from Birmingham, Alabama, and I am a proud Theater Tuscaloosa alum. I had the privilege a few years ago to choreograph Ain't Misbehaving at Theater Tuscaloosa, and it was the best time of my life. It really was. We had the best creative team, the best cast. I mean, we just had so much fun working on that show, and I'm really excited to be reuniting with you guys today. So what we're going to talk about is I'm going to give you guys a little advice on what it's like to be in a Broadway community and what's it like to perform on Broadway. Now, before all of this COVID-19 stuff happened, I was so honored and am still so honored to be a part of the original Broadway company of Tina, the Tina Turner musical, as the Ike Turner understudy and also a dancer in the ensemble. And so I've gotten the privilege of doing Broadway now 3 times. And I want to talk to you about my journey and advice that I would give you moving forward on how to do that. So this all starts with your education. If you are serious about this and you want to go to school for this, when you go to school, school is the most important part because this is all the training that you get in your head right before you go out into the real world. So the first job that I did was Kinky Boots. I was so blessed to get that show right out of school. I was 21 years old and I made my Broadway debut. I moved from Alabama straight to New York within a week's time. My senior year, we had this senior showcase. And I knew on my senior year was gonna be the time that I had to buckle down on everything because I don't come from a lot of money. Most people don't. And you know, when you get to New York, there are so many classes that you want to take. There are so many things are expensive. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford all the classes when I moved to New York. This is me thinking ahead on my senior year, by the way. You got to think ahead on your senior year if you're wanting to pursue musical theater. We'll talk about it later if you never went to college for musical theater and then you're jumping in. We'll get to that. But first of all, I'm talking to people that are training for this in their classes. So I say again, it's very adamant that you write down all the notes from your teachers, write down every little thing, every little detail, because it's important to always hone in on your craft. I'm still doing that today. I'm still using the same projects and the same tools that I was taught in college. So I knew in my senior year that we were going to have a senior showcase. And the senior showcase is usually an opportunity that a college will give you to audition for agents. And an agent for an actor is a very valuable thing because they can get you into the room into a lot of different places for auditions. So for my senior year, I got my little audition ready and everything, and I was so excited. We go to New York. I've never been to New York before, and we spend a weekend in New York where we do our audition materials. So I did my audition material and I lucked out to get callbacks to meet up with agencies. And when I met up with these different agencies, one of them in particular told me before you decide to pick another agency or not, we just think you're right for this show. And they submitted me for Kinky Boots. Now mind you, I'm still in college, I still gotta go home and do my thing. And so they submit me for it, and then a week later, while I'm in a math class in Alabama, I get a call being like, hey, you have a callback for Kinky Boots National Tour, and you start, and they need to see you tomorrow. To which I ran out of my class, called my mom, was like, hey Mom, we need to fix some things out. I need a plane ticket tonight. So I flew the next day to New York City from Alabama to audition for the Kinky Boots National Tour as a Lola understudy. And so when I was auditioning, they also had me dance and all these things. And long story short, I was in there with the best of the best immediately, which is why I say it's very important to hone in on all of the stuff that you learn in the beginning. It's very important, I promise it is. Because these are people that have been here and doing this game for years, and here I just stepped in as a little fish, being like, hey everybody. So, of course that was very intimidating, but I was very determined, if I'm gonna buy this plane ticket and go all the way over here, I need to do what needs to be done. So, I do my audition, it goes great. I go back home. 2 days later, I get another call. We need you back here next week. And I'm like, okay, fly back. 7 callbacks later, where I had to fly back and forth from Birmingham to Alabama, in a month's time, I finally got a call that said, hi, we know you auditioned for the touring production of Kinky Boots, but we would like you to make your Broadway debut as the Lola understudy for Billy Porter, as well as an angel on stage every night. And that changed my life from that point on beyond measure. So I say all of that to say, when I was in class, I knew that I started late because I used to play sports. I didn't know what theater was. And then it wasn't until college where I was just like, realized that, oh, there are people that want to do this and want to pursue this, and they are ahead of the game on me. And so I acknowledged that, and I realized, oh, I want that too. So I went home, I got on YouTube, studied every little Tony clip, every video of something. I also looked at people that I thought played roles that I could play, no matter what race also. Don't limit yourself to just race. If you think you can play those roles, study those roles. Study those study those actors, and study like the roles that they do, and you can see like, oh, I fit that person. Let me look at what they've done so I can see if I can hone my craft in that way. So that's me doing that and playing catch up as hard as I could, because I knew that there were people ahead of me, is the only reason that I was able to book a Broadway show right out of school. It really takes hard work, because if I can do that, you guys really can. It's very true. Like, it's just about being in the right place, having the right spirit, being positive, and moving forward and learning. And so from that process on, I was introduced to this world, and my God, it was so hard because I'm from Alabama. I have never been on a subway, never done the taxi, none of all this. I was just a little fish in a big pond. But I couldn't let that get me down. I had to do all of the things that I was taught. And from that, I was able to make a connection in the Broadway community that gives me opportunities. I did Something Rotten Tour right after that. And I did Something Rotten Tour, and it was one of the best times of my life. I got the first national tour. I played the minstrel who sings "Welcome to the Renaissance." I got to open the show every day with my favorite song in the show. And later on, I was given the opportunity to cover Shakespeare, the Tony Award-winning role of Shakespeare. And I was the first African American to ever play that part, and I was very proud of that. And I had so much fun getting to do that show and getting to have friends come and see me on tour. A lot of friends from Alabama came out and saw me go on for Shakespeare when I was in Atlanta, and it was awesome. And I just want to say about that, never limit yourself, because when I got the opportunity to play this incredible part of Shakespeare, I could have listened to the voice in my head being like, but you can't play that part. Nobody would ever see you as that part. No one ever would think of you to play the role of Shakespeare. And then I listened to that voice in my head, assessed it, and then realized, you're wrong. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to limit myself. I went to school to learn how to be an actor, to transform into roles. So when I had that confidence, I went up to the director and said, I know you guys are looking for a new Shakespeare. I would like to throw my hand in the ring. And I got the part. So I say that to say, never let people doubt you about your race, about your weight, about what type of, show them that you can be the role, but do the work. And so I got to do Something Rotten for a year and a half. And it was so much fun, made so many amazing connections. And then after that show, I was lucky enough to do my own James Brown live show in Joe's Pub in New York City. That was like my passion project. And it's something that I've always wanted to do. I did it all myself. When I got back, I was just like, you know what? Before I do another show, I want to express my art in a way that I could. And so I used the connections that I had from being in the Broadway community to get people to help me out. And it's honestly, it goes as far as being nice to people, taking people's classes, like going to auditions, because when you go to auditions, you meet other people that will see you for another audition that when you were there for something else. It's just a sense of being in the community, being nice, being loyal, and doing your job. That begets work. Sure, I worked hard and I'm talented and all of that, but a lot of the times that I have been able to continue working is because I was a great company member in the job that was given to me. And once you're a great company member, people feel comfortable bringing you on to the next company they do, and so on and so forth. So I'm doing James Brown live at Joe's Pub, and it is a show where the first half of the show is 1960s, and it's a performance that he did on the Tammy Show, and it's a funny story to it. He was supposed to close the show, but the Beatles last minute got like the headliner to change it so that they can close the show. And James Brown was a diva about that, so he made the show like extra long, and it got like this giant standing ovation. It's an iconic performance, and I was so happy to recreate it. And then the second half of the show is him in the 70s with the gold jumpsuit. And so I got to do that show there, and from doing it there, I was asked to do the show at the Apollo, and at the Apollo Music Cafe, and like is a dream where like the Apollo is where so many amazing, legendary artists have been. And it's just because I had the courage to be like, I'm in between shows right now. Let me make my own art. I say that, and I'm saying that to say, never stop anyone. Let anyone stop you from making your own art. Me doing that show of my own opened so many doors for me that I never thought would happen. So I did the show at Apollo, and it opened a lot of doors. Some doors I can't even tell you about right now, but you'll find out later. And that's what I mean. It's just, you can't be scared. You got to be fearless in this business, and you have to have a heart of gold. At least try to, because being negative and is not going to help you. It's not going to keep you. It's not going to keep you grounded for when you get the job that you want. So I did that, and from that I was lucky enough to do King Kong on Broadway, one of the most challenging shows I have ever done. And my advice on King Kong is I am mostly a singer, an actor. I dance really well, but I have never been a concert dancer. You know, like the lift you in the sky, the woof, the boo, all that. That was always a little intimidating to me. So when I got this job and I saw the show for the first time, I remember sitting in the audience and looking at the show because I replaced. And so I got to watch it before I started rehearsals. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. Like, this choreography is too hard, and this puppeteer work that we have to do. If you ever seen any clips from Broadway, from King Kong on Broadway, it's a giant gorilla that the actors and dancers puppeteer the entire show with movement and crazy dancing. I'm talking about men twice my size. I have to lift like this and then fall back and like do it. It was so intimidating, so hard. And I was there with all these amazing principal ballet dancers, Alvin Ailey dancers, all these incredible dancers that I was like, oh God, how am I even here? And then I had a pep talk in the mirror and was just like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna forfeit the job just because I'm scared? No, I had to rise to the occasion. And doing King Kong was one of the most surprising things about myself. I did not know that I could do that type of dancing. When I did Something Rotten, I didn't know that I could do that type of tapping. It's always that inner saboteur that like keeps you from going further in your dreams. I ended up tapping in the front of Something Rotten, and I ended up lifting people in the front at King Kong. And I say all that to say is, if I didn't have enough strength in myself, I would have given up. I would have given up on both of those challenges. And I say that to say this theater is full of challenges. All these new shows that they create are extremely challenging. There's a new challenge that comes into every show. Actors are adaptable people. Performers are adaptable people. I had to learn to adapt and trust myself that I could adapt. And when I did that, after doing King Kong, no show scares me. And I needed that to happen. I needed to know what I was capable of. I needed to be able to be pushed. So allow yourself in this business to be pushed. Do not quit when you have one day of looking bad at a routine or a song or an acting moment. You gotta push yourself. And so got to do that show. One of the most fun times I've ever had. Our cast won a Cheetah Rivera Award for Best Ensemble. And it was really an honor to get that award because we worked so hard. So to like receive that honor from our peers and people in the business felt so amazing. And now, last but not least, I am currently in the Tina Turner musical. I remember seeing the role of Ike Turner when the show was happening in the West End production, and I remember thinking to myself, I can do that, but no one will see me as that. I remember saying that. I was like, too bad I'm not gonna get that show because I could really do that, but I doubt anyone's gonna see that. And I put that negative energy out into the universe. And then audition came along. I got an audition for the role, and I went in and I did it. I got a call back for the role. I went in and did it and sang. I left, and I was just like, well, I didn't get that. Just like pushing all this negative stuff out there. And then I gave up on it, honestly, because a month later passed by, and they hit me with, hey, you booked the Tina Turner musical while I was still in rehearsals for King Kong on Broadway. And I couldn't believe it. And I was just, and what that taught me, it was just, don't doubt yourself again, and don't project what you think people see you as. I was so honored to be able to play a role like Lola and to play a role like my understudy part in King Kong, Lumpy, like just completely different roles. And like I kept on shocking myself and being like, oh, well, nobody will see me for that part. Like I'm too athletic looking to play Lola. Got Lola. I'm too young to play Lumpy. Got to play Lumpy. And then assuming people wouldn't see me for Ike Turner, and I got to do it. And I got to do it a whole week of show. Like, don't doubt yourselves. That's what these things have taught me. And as long as you put in the work, as long as you do not give up on yourself and think about your journey and not anyone else's, you can accomplish anything you want. I am a prime example. I was playing football, I ran track, I boxed, I did all of these things and just sang gospel in the choir. Never, not even thinking that there was another option for me. And then I remember seeing my mom got tickets. Well, my mom's friend gave her tickets to the touring production of Ain't Misbehavin' at the BJCC. And it was the touring production came into Alabama. And I didn't know what theater was. Me and my sister didn't even know what theater was. But we got tickets and we saw the show. And I saw people that looked like me dancing, being amazing and all of that. And I was just like, what is that? I want to do that. And from that day on, that's when I got inspired to learn about theater. And I knew that I was late, but I knew that I still loved it. And I did it anyway. And here I am today. So I say all of that to say, it doesn't matter when you start, just as long as you put the hard work into it. And also you have to have a love and passion for it. Because this is a hard business and there's no reason to give it your all unless you love it. Because if you don't love it, why put yourself through this? So I hope you love it as much as I do. Because me loving this business is what got me this success. And that's some advice that I will give you guys. And I want you to hone in on that. If you don't remember anything that I said from today, just remember these key things. Believe in yourself. That's the most important thing you can do. Don't doubt what you're meant to do. Love yourself. push yourself, and don't give up. I love you guys.